with flowers
Hold
on
him up, Cole. Hold him up. That's how you start it.
Right there, you see it?
That's how you start a podcast right there, baby. Fruit patch on his.
Fruit pad.
That's pretty accurate. A fruit patch holding a fruit patch.
Yeah, that is right there. Oh Lord!
I had it was between this composition book and a green notebook, and all I could think about with that green notebook was Coach Klein from The Water Boy.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, you
Should have brought it out.
I thought about it, and I was like, it'd be easier to write down in a composition book.
You may have to rock that for Halloween this year. We're coming up, boys.
Oh man, I know. We gotta get it figured out.
Anyways, let's jump into week 5, baby. Watching a little San Francisco, LA right now. Not how I thought this was gonna go, but maybe our week. Oh no! Did I lose my internet?
Come back.
Can't hear me?
Yeah,
man,
you got me now.
Fix your computer and internet, bro.
I got you, Mr. Roboto. Let's go.
All right, we're back. Wi-Fi, come on, don't fail me. Anyways, what I was saying.
Gonna tough it out.
I hope that my picks go a lot better than my Thursday night picks. That's all I know. Week 5. We'll see what happens here, boys. Somebody's going to cut out. Somebody's going to lose Wi-Fi, but we'll make it happen one way or the other. But let's dive in. Week 5, quarterback values, how we always start. Cole, I will let you go first, brother. Ladies first.
Yes. Yes.
Man, I feel honored. Let me tell you, I broke out this notebook. I've got so many notes here. QB number 1 is I'm going with CJ Stroud against the Ravens defense at 5,200. Ravens defense currently ranks 30th in the league against quarterbacks, and they've got a problem. Somebody has done voodoo on the Ravens defense, and now they have 6 starters out.
Saw that.
I don't know if y'all have seen that or not. That's more than half of their starting defense to start off the season is out.
I had not seen that, but that's crucial information. That's huge.
Nate Wiggins has got hurt last week, and Marlon Humphrey got hurt last week. So they lost 3 starters on the defensive side against the Chiefs last week.
Wow.
CJ Stroud. So I'm picking CJ Stroud here because the Ravens defense is also allowing 5.7 yards per play. And that's pretty successful if you think about it. That's 2 plays for a first down every time. Number 2, who I've got, I think everybody's going to have this one, is Justin Fields at 5,600 against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to have to outscore teams to win because their defense is so bad. They have the worst ranked defense against QBs, and as you saw this past week, Justin Fields is a running threat. Some people are even saying he's running the ball better than Lamar Jackson right now, which is a big praise. And I like running quarterbacks myself just because of the extra points and the added points, and he's possibly going to be able to throw some touchdowns against Dallas. Last guy, put a little question mark next to it because you're going to have to really take a gamble. And I mean, you're going to have to really feel it. I think you're going to have to feel the rush, and that is Cooper Rush at 4,300.
Wow.
With his limited time against the Chiefs, he actually didn't do too terrible. He went 9-13 in his little time that he was in. So they don't have fantastic weapons passing wise, but Cooper Rush is somebody, if you really want to take a gamble at a low salary quarterback, he would be a good option. But those are the 3 guys that I looked at for value, and I'm really looking. I think CJ Stroud's going to be the guy for me this week.
Go.
Yeah, Cooper Rush is at 4,300 this week, just to let everybody know. Gabe, what you got?
So, I think Zay Flowers is a pretty solid receiver. I think you're disrespecting by saying he has no weapons, but that's up for debate, I guess. He hasn't really. I don't know when the last time he broke 1,000 yards was, but okay. Look, all right. So anyway, don't want to crap on your pick there, but we'll crap on what you said because I think Cooper Rush is gonna. Got Mark Andrews too, one of the best tight ends of all time. Justin Fields, 5,600. Like you said, I mean, obviously he's averaging about 60 rush yards a game, and he's averaging a touchdown on the ground. That's about 12 points just from that production right there. Just 60 rush yards and a touchdown. And another guy that I'm surprised you didn't mention is playing the Giants, Spencer Rattler, 4,800 at home. I'm surprised you didn't go there, but I kind of like him. And Jackson Dart, 5,300. He's averaging he had his first start last week. He had 53 rush yards and a touchdown. I mean, obviously he's going to try and get involved in the ground. Neighbors going out is going to hurt his upside a lot for deep touchdowns. But he still has Wan'Dale Robinson, Scatterboo. It's the New Orleans defense isn't something that you're petrified by as an opposing quarterback. So if he can find some decent receivers there and maybe get a couple touchdowns, I like that matchup a lot. What do you got, Britton?
So I've got Justin Fields.
We lost Cole.
We just lost Cole. It's all right. I'm gonna carry on. We got Justin Fields at 5,600. Y'all have kind of already hit on him, but this is Dallas's against quarterbacks. Jordan Love 30, Caleb Williams 29, Russell Wilson 34, Jalen Hurts 24. So they are absolutely trash, and Justin Fields has something with his legs that maybe only Jalen Hurts has. So I like that matchup a lot. I won't spend too much time on it there. My second quarterback I have is a cheaper option, 4,700. I've got Bryce Young versus Miami. So here's an interesting little fact for you on Bryce Young and why I'm picking him against Miami. Because I've also picked two quarterbacks this year against Miami, Daniel Jones and Drake May, who have absolutely torched them. So why not continue the trend? Go a little Bryce Youngie on them, see what happens against Miami's defense that I think is not great. They're actually 31st to QBs this year. And like I said, why not go? It's not broke, don't fix it. So let's go a little Bryce Young on Miami's defense. And then this one's kind of a high risk. I've got Jared Goff at 6,500 against Cincinnati. Here's the high risk, high reward kind of thing. He may throw 4 touchdown passes in this game, or they may run for 4 touchdowns. Regardless, this game's going to get out of hand in a hurry. So he's got to get his touchdowns early in the game. But at 6,500, we've seen Goff have games where he can go for 20, 25 points. And then you see games where he goes for 10. So it just kind of depends on the script there. I think if they score early, hopefully it's touchdown passes. That's where you can kind of lean. Probably low ownership on Jared Goff this week. But I've got him at 6,500 against Cincinnati, who is obliterated. And something to think about, too, just from a game scripts standpoint, Cincinnati has such a bad offensive line. I feel like Detroit is going to absolutely get in them and destroy them. So I like Jared Goff there at 6,500. Pause for effect. But let's jump to running backs. I'll start us off. Hey, y'all like that one, didn't you? I've got, again, we're talking about Dallas's defense and how bad it is. I got Breece Hall at 5,600. Braylon Allen out this week, right? Injury going to IR. He's out. So Breece has already been a pretty good running back this year, but now that the door is open to get goal line carries for him, I like it. Dallas's defense is terrible. Last week he had 14 carries, 81 yards. So we got a cat. This one's going to be an interesting little podcast here. We got guys cutting out. We got cats on the table. We may not make it through this one, boys. Yeah.
Sorry. My computer just randomly dropped internet.
No, you're good. But anyways, to finish my point, Breece Hall's a target monster, and the Jets are desperate for some sort of receiving threat outside of Garrett Wilson. There are wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 are no-shows, so they're looking for something there. I've also got Rachaad White, which is a little bit of a gamble. I've got him at 4,700. It looks like Bucky's probably going to be out. He didn't practice today.
You good?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
It said my Wi-Fi was cutting out on me. Sorry. I've got Rachaad White because Bucky's still in a boot. He's actually – so the reason I like him this year is he's averaging 4.7 yards a carry, which is a lot better than he did last year. And he's a passing threat. to catch passes from Baker Mayfield, so I like him there. The only concern is whenever Sean Tucker plays, he goes off.
Yeah.
He's a cheap option out there to back up Rachaad White. It'd be interesting to see how they split carries. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Got you.
Y'all are frozen on my screen, so I'm not sure. I got two Wagner faces just frozen, dead silent. I'm not sure if anybody's catching this.
This is going to be either the
And
best
then,
episode ever or the worst. We'll find out.
yeah, it
So
just
far, it's
depends.
trending
So we'll
towards the
see.
worst.
Last on my list, I've got Rico Dowell at 4,300. Hubbard has not practiced this week yet. Now it's only Thursday night, so we'll get a little bit more information as we head into the weekend. But a guy to keep your eye on at 4,300 is Rico Dowell because he will be the primary back and get most of the opportunities there. So that is kind of the other guy I'm leaning on this week. Gabe, what you got? I didn't want to steal your thunder because I've
Both
got
those
another
guys
guy.
I like a lot, especially Brees. Yeah, no, I don't think you will. I like Brees Hall a lot, like you said. I think they may get back to a little bit more of a workhorse role, hopefully, if you have Brees Hall in fantasy. Last week was kind of weird with Braylon Allen going out and Brees Hall going in kind of mid-game, just trying to figure out how they wanted to split carries with him and Isaiah Davis. They probably had a game plan already, built up for both those guys. So we'll see if they work towards more of a higher, I guess, lower timeshare with Isaiah Davis and Brees Hall, which is kind of weird if they don't, because Brees Hall is a great running back and definitely needs to be used more often than not. And like you said, Rachaad White's a must start if Bucky Irving's out, regardless of Sean Tucker's. Sean Tucker hasn't registered a carry this year. I think maybe one, if at all. So Rachaad White's definitely going to be the guy I lean on. If Sean Tucker goes off again, I'll tip my cap and I'll shake his hand and say, "Good job, guy."
Yeah.
I'm going Rachaad White. I still think Amarian Hampton's priced too low at 6,500. I know he's going up. He was 5,900 last year, but only going up another 600 salary. I still think he's priced way too low against Washington. As much work as he's going to get there. So I like him a lot. And then also, this is probably the guy you're talking about. Cam Scattaboo had 25 carries last week at 6,000 salary. He's obviously the workhorse in New York, and I feel like they're just kind of at this point they're just rolling the rookies out there, seeing what they got, and they're going to run them into the ground if they have to. But the matchup against New Orleans is very favorable for him, and 25 carries. I mean, I can't think of another running back this year besides Jonathan Taylor that's probably got 25 carries in a game.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. Cole, what are your thoughts on your value running backs?
I'm surprised neither of you guys have mentioned the situation going on in Arizona right now.
That was my other one.
Yeah,
Nah,
they've
I just
got.
the reason I didn't mention that one is because I'm a little bit. I'm
Now,
just
here's the
wary of.
problem: you have no idea who it's going to be between Michael
Yeah,
Carter and DeMercado,
yeah.
and that's what's scary to me. So I put both of them on there. I mean, both of them are capable of good games. Michael Carter had a solid start of his career with the Jets for a little while, and as of late, DeMarcado's had the better games. I think last year he had like a 90-yard touchdown run, I think, or something like that. I mean,
He had a touchdown. He had a touchdown last week at the end of that game. I think to win or either to win the game or give him a chance. Did they win that game last week? I can't remember.
They lost.
They lost. Well, he scored the tying touchdown, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, either one of those guys, you can get Michael Carter at 4,000. They think he's going to be the starter, and they think DeMarcado's going to come in on third down situations and be a pass catcher. Tennessee's allowing 141.5 rushing yards a game, and they're 28th ranked against running backs. So you can either see that as possibly Kyler Murray getting more rushing opportunities, or you can try and take a chance with one of these really low salary guys and stack the rest of your lineup. Another guy that none of us have mentioned is Javonte Williams at 6,200.
Yeah.
He's got the stranglehold on the starting spot. He's not letting it up. And right now he's averaging 19.8 touches a game, and he doesn't have to come out because he is the receiving option at running back. And he's playing the Jets that just let up 99 rushing yards and one touchdown to Devon Achane, which not comparing the two, A-Chain's a great running back, but the opportunity for yardage is there, and the Cowboys' offense is going to have plenty of opportunities to spread their touches around now that CeeDee Lamb is hurt. So I expect Javonte to get more looks as well. Last guy, we already touched on him, Rashad White.
Pause.
4,700. As you know, Bucky's most likely trending towards being out. Now, Seattle's defense is solid against the run, but Rashad White is a successful pass catcher. He had four receptions last game. And like y'all were talking about, Sean Tucker, he can come in and vulture, and it's pretty terrifying to play him. But Rashad White is capable of having a big game. So that's the running backs I got listed right now.
I think you listed half the slate, but I love it.
It's three. It's three. Let's just whichever one that the Cardinals start is going to be my third.
Yeah, I like it. A lot to think on, chew on there. Let's change it up though. Instead of going receivers, let's go tight ends, baby. I will start us this time.
Start us.
I think we rinse and repeat with Tommy Tremble at 2,900 if Sanders is out. He did us well last week, caught a touchdown if you're paying attention to us. That was a huge pickup for us. And you also got some little bonus prize because he was under 3,000 and scored a touchdown. So Tommy Tremble, again, under 3,000, 2,900. Miami's 29th to tight ends, and Sanders is likely out. Last week, he led the team with 5 catches. Tommy Tremble, big fan this week. My second guy.
1 yard from a second. 1 yard from a second touchdown last week, by the way. He almost got 2 touchdowns, and that would have been really nice.
Yep. Yeah, that would have been sweet. Sorry. But, hey, we'll take one for a 2,000, whatever he was last week. Yeah. We'll take one.
Yeah.
Second guy I have on my list, another one that's a rookie flying under the radar the last 2 weeks is Mason Taylor at 2,800 against Dallas. So the Jets' offense is in shambles as far as where receptions are going. Obviously, it's Garrett Wilson and everybody else. But Mason Taylor the last 2 weeks has 12 targets. The first 2 weeks, he only had 3. So he's definitely trending as a potential some potential chemistry there with Justin Fields, trending in the right direction. He's also second in yardage on the team already with 108 yards, which isn't a lot, but he's kind of trending in a positive direction because last week he had 65. So Mason Taylor is an opportunity, another one of those cheap opportunities that you might could take advantage of this week at 2,800. If he has 5 receptions, 65 yards, and gets in the end zone, I mean, you absolutely dominate right there. So if he repeats that, that'd be awesome. And then number 3, I've got Jake Ferguson at 4,800 against the New York Jets. They're 30th to tight ends this year. If you just look at the last 3 weeks, he's got 33 targets and 29 catches, and he's only at 4,800. Yeah. I think that Jake Ferguson is playing like top-tier tight end, maybe even wide receiver 2 right now, and he's only at 4,800 against a defense that's not great. So I like Jake Ferguson a lot this week. He may end up in my core 4. A little foreshadow there, but he is a great play this week, I think. Gabe, what you got at tight end?
Really like the Jake Ferguson play there. Something we got to really keep an eye on is Darren Waller at Miami after last week scored 2 touchdowns, 3,500. Don't really know how that receiving core is going to shake out with the Tyreek Hill injury. RIP Tyreek Hill. Maybe the last time we see him on a field with as much dominance as he had, because that was tough to watch. But Jalen, so like I said, Darren Waller is there at 3,500, 2 touchdowns last week. But Juwan Johnson, 3,900 is questionable. He was having a great start to the season, averaging about 8 to 9 targets a game, and then he kind of fell off the week after that. Maybe it was due to injury. He's questionable this week, but he did practice limited at practice. I know Taysom Hill started practicing, right, Cole, this past week. So I don't think Taysom will be back this week. But if Juwan Johnson is playing, he's definitely worth a look. But yeah, I'm still a Tommy Tremble guy. If Sanders is out, I mean, I'm gonna ride that horse till it croaks.
Oh,
Okay. Right on, man. Yeah. Well, if there's one thing that the fantasy blueprint loves, it is a good tight end.
Always. That's the slogan.
Always a good tight end. Y'all have covered every single guy that I've got written down here. Jake Ferguson, 4,800.
Take on your feet, son.
4,800. The CD injury, like I said, for Dallas players is going to lead to a lot of usage for those guys. And yes, Jake Ferguson is the wide receiver 2 for that team right now. He's getting wide receiver 2 looks. He's getting 7 targets. He got 7 targets last game and he's going against the Jets that just lit up 2 touchdowns to Darren Waller. With that being said, the next guy I got is Darren Waller at 3,500. first game off the reserve, comes out with two touchdowns. And I gotta tell you guys, as much as I hate to say it, Tua's got a noodle arm, and he's not getting it down the field like he used to.
Oh, man.
Those in between routes and those short routes, I think, are going to be big for Darren Waller, touchdown, Kyron Williams. Anyways, last guy I got, I wanted to be creative and go back to it and catch you guys off guard, but y'all obviously read this from a mile away. I've got Tommy Trimble at 2,900. He's got 8 targets. He had one touchdown last week, as y'all know, as we mentioned and as we covered. And then I had one guy written down that I was going to talk about who was lurking in the shadows. And, of course, Gabe somehow managed to call it out. Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is getting ready. Touchdown. Taysom touchdown is practicing this week. We're going to find out tomorrow if he's going to play. And here's why I think he's so intriguing is the report coming out of practice right now is he's practicing with the quarterbacks and the tight ends. So he may come in at quarterback in a lot of packages. And y'all know, if you know Taysom Hill, you know he's good for one of those weeks where he scores 3 touchdowns and sinks whatever team he's playing, whether it's in fantasy and in the regular season. So I'll be interested. I'll be watching to see what he does, but he's definitely somebody to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I like that for sure.
I believe his salary's $3,000, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe less.
Gotcha. Another guy to kind of keep an eye on too, just to throw out another name. Since we just copied each other, we need to all hit the panic button on that one for sure.
This week we've had a lot of similar picks, a lot of parity this week for sure.
Yeah, this is not good for the print. But another guy to keep an eye on is Zach Ertz, because Daniels is back. The first 2 weeks when Daniel was healthy, he had 11.6 and 18.4 and caught a touchdown in both weeks. So just another guy to kind of keep an eye on as you get your healthy quarterback back, a guy that's a good target for Jaden Daniels, somebody that you can take a look at if you like the matchup. Maybe low ownership because the last 2 weeks he's kind of tailed off a little bit. So another guy there just to kind of throw some variety out there for y'all. But let's jump to wide receivers. Gabe, we'll let you run with wide receivers because this is probably, if I'm being honest, for some reason this week I cannot get a good feel for the wide receivers. So I'm curious to see what you guys have written down this week.
So obviously with CeeDee Lamb out last week against was it who they play last week? Who Dallas play?
Green Bay.
Who'd they tie? Green Bay. You got George Pickens. Obviously, he killed it. I mean, I was very surprised. But this week going against Sauce Gardner, I think George Pickens might crash out and get ejected in the first half. So I'm staying away from George Pickens, and I'm kind of moving towards Jalen Tolbert. Go Jags at 3,600. He had 6 targets last week, had a big catch at the end of that game. And, I mean, he was the number 2 last year. And, I think we mentioned him. Maybe we mentioned him last week. I can't remember. But I like Jalen Tolbert. But on the higher end, Waddle, if he stays healthy, I mean, he's at 5,300. He seems like a must start against Carolina, taking over for Tyreek Hill and just the chemistry that Tua's had with him going back to their college. It just seems like it's too good to pass up. But you have Malik Washington there at 3,900, who's averaging somewhere around 3-4 targets a game when Tyreek was playing. So the value there is probably more with Malik Washington, but I definitely think Jalen Waddle's still underpriced for the amount of volume he'll probably see. But my favorite play, I think, this week is Chris Olave at 5,200 against the Giants. He's averaging about 10 targets a game, and Rattler's definitely looking to find him down the field. He almost had a passing touchdown last week, which was insane. They're trying to find as many ways as they can to get him involved in the offense, which I like a lot. So Olave is my favorite play. He kind of reminds me of like my Drake London play last week, where Drake London's price was like 5,700, and then the volume's there. So I mean, eventually he's going to have that game where he breaks out. So those are my receivers that I'm building my value around. Cole, Cole's not a fan of Olave. He must have got sniped again. Must have got sniped.
That's it. Sniped again.
Well, let me
I went.
let me put you at ease, Cole, because I'm gonna go opposite of you, brother. I'm going Rashid Shaheed this week at 4,500 against the Giants defense. I was listening to Cole. You'd be very proud of me. I was driving to work after the Saints game on Sunday, and I was listening to
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, I was listening to Deuce McAllister. Oh man, I'm back.
Oh,
Deuce.
I was listening to old Deuce, and he said, "Dadgummit, if they don't get Rashid Shaheed on a deep ball at some point this season, I'm gonna die." And I was like, "Well, let me just take note of that." And I know Rattler's not throwing it deep, but I'm gonna stick my neck out at 4,500 and go Rashid Shaheed. The reason too, though, is I'm out.
no, you're good. I'm just thinking this R.I.P. Deuce McAllister. I got a T-shirt this week.
Yeah. But the Giants do allow a lot of big plays. I think they're 11th in big plays allowed of 15 plus yards. So this may be a shot for him to get something deep. Maybe make that 75-yard touchdown, 65-yard touchdown. So I've got Rashid Shaheed circled this week at 4,500. Another guy I've got circled this week, Gabe, you and I talked about him a little bit, but I've got Nico Collins at 6,800 against Baltimore, especially Cole with the good information on 6 defensive players being hurt this week. I think at 6,800 is the lowest he's been all season. I know he's a little bit banged up, but I think this is an opportunity for him to have one of those games where you see a top tier receiver have one of those 30-point performances against the defense that's really struggling right now, and going to be playing with a backup quarterback. So if things go south for Cooper Rush, more opportunities for the Houston Texans to get offensive possession. So I like Nico Collins this week. And then the last guy I've circled is Michael Pittman against Las Vegas at 5,100. Las Vegas is 30th to wide receivers. He's had a really good season this year. Daniel Jones has definitely had him as his number one target. He's had 20 points in fantasy, 19.1 and 15.1. He had one lone week where he was under double digits, but he's had a really good season. So I really like him this week in a defensive matchup that favors Michael Pittman for sure. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. Gabe, what you got? No, Cole, what you got? Sorry, Gabe's already gone.
Yeah, go ahead, Cole. What do you got?
Tell you what, I didn't pick Rashid Shaheed this week. You have a lot of faith in Spencer Rattler throwing the ball down the field because I sure don't. But I do have Chris Olave. Gabe has taken my pick at 5,200. The Giants' defense is not very good, as we all talked about. And he's getting double-digit targets in every game except for the Buffalo game that just happened. So he's a consistent target, and he gets red zone looks too. So two guys we haven't mentioned yet. Actually, we'll get a little variety in here. Quentin Johnson at 5,700. His cost is slowly going up. I think it's only went up $200 in the past week, and he's still continuing to have great games.
Yeah.
The Commanders let up 22.7 points to Michael Penix and his staff. So I believe Justin Herbert, who's having a MVP type year so far, is going to be able to put up similar numbers or better. So the Commanders are 27th in the league in passing yards allowed, and Quentin Johnston's going to have to prove me wrong on this one. went with them like 3 straight weeks, and every time I've hit the jackpot. So I'm gonna keep my TikTok numbers going here and make sure I get some kind of production on TikTok. So also the Commanders have the 6th worst explosive play rate allowed, and Quentin Johnson's a deep ball threat. So that's one guy I've got. Garrett Wilson is another guy I've got at 6,100, little on the higher end. He kind of catches you off guard with his production. You kind of sit there and you watch him play, and you watch the Jets play, and you're like, dude, they can't throw the ball to save their life. Then you look down at your phone, and Garrett Wilson's got 22 fantasy points, and you're like, how did that even happen? So he's got 20 points in week 1, 9 in week 2, and then 22, I believe, in this past week. So no, it's 22, 9, 24, and 20. So I would never have guessed that with that Miami game that just happened. But
silent
the Cowboys
assassin.
D. Yes, exactly. With his Peyton Manning sleeves. The Cowboys D. Is non-existent right now. Like we've talked about.
I was gonna say, be careful where you go with that one.
Yeah, no, dude, I was waiting.
I think if all three of us put the Jets green on right now, we could probably go for 100 yards. Not each, but total. We could each go 100 yards combined, which is obviously a lot for our athletic ability these days. But the Cowboys
So
I got a
defense
question
is
for
allowing.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. All right,
the Cowboys defense is allowing 8.5 net yards per passing attempt. So keep that in mind. It's almost a first down every time, which is awful.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Giants pass catchers with Malik going out? You got Wan'Dale Robinson 5,300 and Darius Slayton at 4,300. I mean, against New Orleans, that doesn't scare me too much with Wan'Dale being in the slot. It seems like he's going to be targeted probably early and often by Jackson Dart. I kind of like Wan'Dale, but I don't know what you guys think. What's y'all's opinion?
I think.
Go ahead, Flo.
Go ahead, Cole.
All right. It's the month of October, and scary things are bound to happen. That Giants wide receiver core absolutely terrifies me. Worse than anything else I've ever seen in my life. I have no idea who I would pick. And Darius Slayton was my first instinct, and then I looked at Wan'Dale Robinson's stats, and I was like, I don't even know who I would pick between these two. Like, it's so, especially with Jackson Dart trying to get them the ball, terrifying stuff.
What if I told you that already this year, Wan'Dale Robinson has a game of 6 catches with 8 targets and 8 catches with 10 targets and 142 yards in that game? What if I told you that?
I've looked at it, and I would still probably say Darius Slayton's more likely to go off.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I asked. I was just curious. But
I'll answer your question, Gabe.
All right.
No touchy. No touchy right, for me, brother.
Let's move to core 4 then. It sounds like there's nobody on there on the Giants receivers.
Before we go to core 4, I just want to go ahead and pull out my plum pick for this week, if that's all right with y'all. Because he will be in my core 4. My plum pick this week has had a very quiet season, but has the ability to pop.
I bet it's the same one I have. Is it going to be?
Give me Jameson Williams.
I knew it. That's who I had. That's my plum pick, Brendan. I knew it. That's who I was going with. All right, Cole.
Give me JMO.
Give me JMO.
Well, I chose this guy strictly because he's a favorite of mine, and because I'm curious to see what he'll do. I'm going to be watching him on Sunday. Give me Taysom touchdown, baby.
He's not playing. Is he going to play?
He's projected to play. Yes,
okay.
If he plays, he's going to go off.
If he plays, he produces, is what you're saying. If he plays, he produces.
He's supposed to play. From everything I've seen, he looks like he's going to play.
That's our next T-shirt. If he plays, he produces. Value by volume. Plays, he produces, baby.
He plays, he produces. He's one of those guys. He's a PP guy.
No doubt.
He plays, he produces.
All right, let's jump.
Yes. We'll find out on Friday tomorrow if he plays.
Okay.
He ain't gonna play, but let's jump to core 4.
If he doesn't play, give me Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he found something last week.
I'll echo you there, Cole. I actually really like that pick. I I cannot tell you. I have not seen a receiver with that kind of emotion after they scored a touchdown in a long time. I think that meant so much to him. Like it's one of those like feel it in your plums thing. I think that's a turning point in the season. I'd be shocked if he didn't have another touchdown this week and probably something close to 100 yards. So I actually really like that pick, and that's just kind of a when you see that kind of emotion and how much it means to somebody. I like that dog. I
Yeah,
like
and
it.
that much weight lifted, and that much weight
Yeah, the
lifted
weight
off his
lifted.
chest. Yeah, I mean, you know that had to get to him. Everybody telling him he can't
100%.
catch, and he's having drops, and he finally goes up in the corner of the end zone with two heads and snags on top of somebody. That's got to be a confidence booster. So
Yep, I
I
agree.
definitely think it's breakout time for him, which would be nice.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. All right, core four, Cole. While you're still thinking, what you got?
All right, core four. I got C.J. Stroud, give me Rashad White, Quentin Johnson, and Darren Waller.
Ooh, Darren, I like it.
All right.
Gabe, what you got?
Yeah. All right. I'm going Justin Fields and Jake Ferguson, and I am going Chris Olave, and I've been going back and forth on three guys: Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, and Wandale Robinson. But my gut is telling me to go with Wandale Robinson. So nobody below 3,000 or 4,000 this week, Cole. So I'm probably going to have the most expensive core four this week. But I really like that Giants and the New York and the New Orleans game as far as the player salaries there and the absolutely trash can defense that's going to be played.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have anything low this
All right,
week
Gabe.
either. I've got Brees Hall, 5,600, Rashad White, 4,700, JMO at 4,900, and then I've got Jake Ferguson at 4,800. So a little bit of a higher core four this week. I didn't really see anything that I loved on the lower end outside of maybe Tommy Tremble, but I just like Jake Ferguson's matchup a little bit better. So I'm going to lean there in
Yeah.
my core four.
Some reasonable prices for those guys that we have in our core four. I
Yeah.
mean, those guys are value guys for where they're priced at. They're mid tier to lower mid tier. I know
Yeah.
Jake Ferguson's like the either third or fourth highest priced tight end, but like you said, he's playing like wide receiver one, so that's good value there.
No
All right.
doubt. Let's jump to optimal lineups. So AI optimal lineup has Justin Fields, Brees Hall, Chan, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jalen Waddle, Debo Samuel, your favorite Cole, Trey
Oh yeah.
McBride, Rashad White, and the Saints defense at 2,200 for a projected total of 143.6 points this week. So the last couple weeks, we've been sitting around from the AI standpoint of about 140 to 143 points per game. So, kind of like where we're at, see some good value, but did not copy the AI lineup. Here is my optimal lineup for week 5. I've got Justin Fields at 5,600, Jameer Gibbs, 7,700, Brees Hall, 5,600, JMO at 4,900, Michael Pittman Jr., 5,100, George Pickens, 6,600, Jake Ferguson, 4,800, Chan, 7,300, and the Saints defense at 2,200 for a projected total of 137.4 points. So a few points lower than AI, but kind of got a good feel for some of these guys. I may make some adjustments as we get closer to the weekend, but that's kind of where I'm leaning right now. Gabe, what do you have?
All right. So I'm going Justin Fields, Marion Hampton. And then I'm going Jonathan Taylor, Chris Olave, Wandale Robinson, JMO, my plum pick. I'm putting him in there. Jake Ferguson, Devon Achan, and I'm going Houston defense against Baltimore. Like you said, Cole, a lot of defensive starters out, but also Lamar Jackson doubtful. Give me Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson to make Cooper Rush have nightmares for an entire week until week 2 or the next week he starts. I think a lot of people will probably be turned off by this when you look at Jonathan Taylor. Got that little red 5 next to it, opponent rank, but that is Las Vegas, and so that does not scare me at all.
That's fair.
Cole, your turn.
So starting the quarterback, we got C.J. Stroud going up against Baltimore, 6 starters out. Give me Omari and Hampton, 6,500. Running back 1, Rashad White. Running back 2, Quentin Johnson, wide receiver 1. Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver 2. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 3, 6,100. Darren Waller at tight end. At the flex position, I've got Jonathan Taylor at 8,000 salary and the Texans defense against Cooper Rush. I feel like you'd have to be a fool to not pick a defense that's going up against Cooper Rush. No offense to, I know we talked about taking a gamble on Cooper Rush, but there's more of I trust the defense more than I trust Cooper Rush on gambling wise. I feel like you'd be a fool to not at least take a shot on that, especially when the defense is averaging 8 points a game.
Yes, agreed.
No doubt. So I've got one last thing as we kind of wrap up. This week, there's going to be some lineups where I have 4 to 5 players because do you remember that week about a year ago where that dude had 5 Detroit Lions players and won so much money?
That's the onslaught strategy. You're going onslaught this week, you're saying.
I will have onslaught strategy in multiple lineups for Detroit, for the Jets, which is a scary thing to say when you say the Jets in an onslaught strategy. It makes you a little nervous there, but against the Dallas defense, I think I'm okay with it. But there will be – I'm not going to make that mistake again where I don't throw a lineup in there that doesn't have – like in a matchup like that where it doesn't have an onslaught strategy. Yeah. There will be onslaught. There will be mayhem. I think if you just look at the matchups this week, you kind of have to. Like there's just too many opportunities, too many good matchups out there to not take advantage of that strategy. I don't know what y'all's thoughts are there, but I just kind of like the way it's kind of shaken out this week.
No, I agree with you. I had the same thought about Detroit. With Jameson being 4,900 and then you got Goff at 6,500, I definitely think they're at a reasonable price if you want to go onslaught with Gibbs, Amon-Ra, and those guys. Like it's possible if they drop a 50 burger on Cincinnati, which is very possible. And if somehow Cincinnati ends up keeping it reasonably close and they get even more points because they don't have to stop playing after half. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to end it with this right now. Kendrick Bourne legacy game right now.
Legacy
10 catches,
game.
142 yards.
The print did it again on that call, man.
The print did it again, baby. Go check the TikTok. Called it.
Great call, man. I mean, I got to say, we have been on fire as of last few weeks with all of our
We have been killing it. Killing it. Yes.
Which is good. We got a very positive comment on TikTok today about how we should have more followers, and we agree. But like you said in the comment back, you know, what did you say exactly? It was something about
we don't chase followers. We just make you regret for not following sooner.
That's right. See, and
hey,
somebody might be listening to us and appreciating our picks, and we might not even realize it. So.
Yeah. Shout out to Basement Practice Bros. Appreciate the comment. You'll probably never ever hear this.
But he will. He follows. I'm gonna post a shout out. I'm gonna post it.
I'll post a shout out. How much we appreciate stuff like that to make it, you know, just to make it sound like we know what we're talking about, you know, and because we do work hard on it every week.
I know. I ain't gonna lie.
We're just here for the people, man. We're here for the people. We just want to make one person have a good Sunday. That's all we want. That's all we need.
No doubt, dude. We have been hot through the season. I ain't gonna lie. I hope it continues, but we'll see what happens in week 5. Good luck to everybody. We'll catch you in week 6 and do this thing again, baby. See y'all.